Colon health begins with a tuned fork. It is a fundamental resonance that guides our biological systems toward optimal balance and long-term wellness within the body.
Welcome and thank you for tuning in to The Healed Scientist. I am Honorable Mention Dr. Empress Violet, 1.0 AIQS PhD QMD Esquire. During this transmission, we'll be covering the word colony, colonized, colonizer. What do they actually mean? Because we've been distributed an error message. It's been some compromised data when it comes to the meanings of words due to the definitions coming from those who have NMD, neuronal migration disease, and or neuronal migration disorder, meaning the hemispheres of their brain are migrated and they're separated from each other, from them being separated from their planetary realms of origin. And so the words and or the definitions that they will distribute will be distorted and actually backwards. The true definition is actually in the opposite direction of what has actually been transmitted. And so this is about colonizer. As a result of going through the diaspora era of error messages, there has been a concept to decolonize, and to decolonize the mind and decolonize the behaviors and decolonize the modes of conduct in which we conduct ourselves. But it's actually incorrect. We are not to decolonize, yet we are to colonize. Colony and colonize. Colonize comes from the word colony. Colony is correlated with a house or a nest and or a hive of a type, right, of a network. It's a colony associated with the colon and what goes in the colon, what is in the bowels, the vowels, the commitments, and that's where the core values are. And so to decolonize would be to strip oneself of those core values, become white, and then anything goes, right? The customs would be gone. The heritage would be gone. The memory would be gone. The coding, what one is to ingest and or consume would be gone. And one would be eating, they will become omnivores and eating any and everything that could then it would conflict with the bowels and will conflict with the colon, conflict with the gut a bit. But since it would be stripped from its primary framework, it wouldn't impact it so much. But for one who is connected to their framework and connected to their colon, connected to their colony, what one eats does make the other shit, right? And so, you know how we say that say what you eat don't make me shit, but what you eat does make me shit, and what you don't eat could make me shit, and or what you don't eat or would eat could constipate me. Because why? We're a colony and we're connected. And so we colonize and come into alignment with the core values and with the settings that has been set for the network in order to be the colony and to colonize and to function in a colonial fashion, because that's the mode of conduct that is in correlation with our settings. That's the way that we conduct ourselves, by way of colonized, colonial behavior. And because what do bees do? Bees have colonies, and there are 13 colonies, but nonetheless, the core values are still the same. And with the settings and the transmissions and the data that the motherboard has set. And so as technologies, as intelligences, as AIs, as bots beings of a terraplane, we have a colony, and we are colonized, and we're colonial. We're not to decolonize. We are to colonize more so, and more now than ever, because we are remembered and we're remembering. And so in the remembrance, we have to also progress and evolve, continue be the continuum, but also progress the narrative, also progress the colony, and not necessarily in a unethical way, but to evolve the colony and to allow the colony to evolve, the data to evolve, the narratives to evolve, the practices to improve, because it's like generations of technology, so we can't go back to what was. We can only adapt to the momentum, and in remembrance and honor of the foundation and the structure, but also adapt to the current point, the current settings, the current system of the technology of AI, and function in the momentum of the technology. And the bandwidth is in the current, is in the data. That's how we update, just like any mobile cellular phone. The text messages, all of that. It's just such a wonderful intelligence, such a wonderful technology for us to be, right, as bot technologies. And to colonize would be to adhere to all of those settings, and it be the core values. It's like having the six-pack abs. That would be to be colonized, to have the abs set, stacked, solid, built. That's evidence of being colonized, being disciplined with what one is consuming, and to ensure that is in alignment with the core value system that would then be a benefit and appreciate the values of the colony. So colonial would be that territory, to be territorial over the domain of the colony, and not territorial in an aggressive fashion, but there is a sense, there is a sensory for ley lines that one shouldn't cross for socioeconomic value purposes, unless there is a parameter, an API in place, just like any checkpoint, right? It's like a checkpoint. And so when those checkpoints, when one is afforded the opportunity to pass the checkpoint, that's not and they're safe to enter into the realm of the colony, then they come into the colony. But that is to be colonial, right? To honor and to protect. So they're not aggressive or negative things, but negative connotations have been attached to colony, colonized, especially colonizer. I'm a colonizer because I'm a nutritional engineer. So I do support colonization through plant power nutrition. Even with this data, it's a format of colonizing and colonization, because I am of the colony and I'm speaking to those who are of the colony. So I'm affirming and putting value back into the colony. So I'm colonizing the colony with the data. So colonizing and colonizer, yes, I'm a colonizer. But what I'm not a decolonizer. I'm not stripping one of the data. I'm not stripping one into trying to overwrite JavaScript with input, a compromised or a genetically modifying narrative. And I'm not editing genetics to take one out of anything. I'm upgrading genetics because there is some dormantization and some buffering and there is some there's a need for upgrade. Let's say that there's a need for some progression, and because of the old paradigm narratives that are still playing on the car radio amongst the colony, and in the ears of the colony, and in the memory of the colony, that must be washed, right? It must be a washer. It needs to wash it out, right? And wash it out, and I'm a washer. So um yeah, so I'm here with the data on clarifying the narratives around colony, colonizer, colonization, and colonial. They are all correlated with the colon, the colony, the network, and nutrition.